Amazing. Okay, so as we are recording now, hello for anybody that is watching the playback. My name is Zoe Rodger. I am the Communications Director for the ACSM. And we have just had the most thought-provoking session with the wonderful Bev around diversity and embracing the edge. So we would like to share with you some of our main takeaways today. So would anybody like to volunteer to go first on what they would like to share was their biggest takeaway from our discussion today? I hate the volunteer bit. I'm going to pick on you if you don't choose. Okay, what we're going to do then is people aren't volunteering. I'm going to throw the ball over to someone, and then when you finish, you throw the ball to somebody else to make it easier. So could I please have the wonderful Phil, because you brought a lovely energy when you first turned up today. So what was your biggest takeaway from our supervision caption today?
It's fascinating to be in a gathering of so many different cultures. Typically in the United States, I really only see one culture at a time. And it's very helpful to me to have all of these cultures and all of these different viewpoints and mindsets. It's just nice to know that there are people on the other side of the globe dealing with the same issues I'm dealing with. We're very, very connected, and just a lovely experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who would you like to throw the ball to?
I will throw it to Sharon. I know her well now. We've been in 2 groups together.
You need to unmute, Sharon.
It was a great opportunity, especially since we had a fairly international group as well. And, you know, one major takeaway as well is that as coaches, we need to be very aware of even the narrative of the political situation. So, for example, in a country, if the narrative is that one group is better than the other, and we are coaching a person from, let's say, that particular racial group, I think that, you know, it's even more important that we be present and there not be any judgment when we're coaching that person, you know, because I think narratives also influence people, and we just need to be more aware of that.
Thank you. Who are you throwing the ball to? No one wants to throw today.
Sharon, sorry, you need to unmute.
I'd like to throw the ball to Suwon.
Thank you, Sharon. I'm Suwon, based in Singapore. This is my first session for ACSM, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity to have a session with you. My own experience is, as you share with some of your viewpoint and input, some part of it I resonate with it, some part could be challenging for me. I realized that as a coach, it's my journey to know more about myself before coaching others. And it's an excellent platform for coaches to sharpen our own tools, including mine. Thank you. I'm complete.
Thank you. Throw the ball.
Viviana. Thank you.
Okay, so my takeaway is I like the first question is what I'm present to. So if in coaching I need to change the narrative in my head. when we encounter diversity, because the client maybe have a differences with us, then we need to embrace and accept the diversity.
Thank you.
SookLeng.
Yeah, so my takeaway for today is that as coaches, I need to be mindful of the other person's biasness, or their values and beliefs, because we need to allow the individual to exercise some form of vulnerability, to embrace diversity, as well as some form of put down here, comfortable with their values and belief systems. And I particularly like what Bev put at the end of the slide, on the last slide, which was human development occurs in the middle of everything. So there is really no right and wrong in how the extent of embracing diversity. It's really up to the individual. So as coaches, as an individual myself, I just need to be mindful about that. Yeah, so thank you, Beth. Okay, so I would like to throw the ball to Asma.
Thank you, SookLeng. Yeah, for me, my takeaway would be we have to be comfortable with differences and make it part of the way we do things. And in coaching, we have to look for ways to find both common grounds and areas where we differ. So it's like in the initial conversation, we have to strike that so that we don't run into unconscious biases. Thank you. Let me see. Marianne.
Thank you, Asma. My takeaway is that diversity is very rich. And I think our session today proved how enriching it is to have so many different perspectives. But it can only come from having that experience. Measuring the richness comes from the experience. And so in terms of responsibility, I think we all have that privilege of experiencing it. And in a way, we also have that duty to role model, because what is obvious to us may not be. And it's only by providing that opportunity to others that it becomes obvious, and that we are part of this education, that diversity is important, is enriching, makes a difference. And I will invite Zoe.
Got to invite me. Okay. What was my biggest takeaway from today? My biggest takeaway was, Bev, you said initially in the session that you felt kind of disorientated, and I didn't really understand that by diversity and how it works. And I thought, what does that mean? And then kind of halfway through the session, I was like, oh yeah, I feel disorientated now, because having, such a rich culture of people around to talk to, it really made me see that, yes, things aren't always aligned with what you are. And I just thought, God, you really have to contain yourself and your own ego. Ego really came up for me today, and how you, as a coach, you need to really keep your ego to one side. And definitely responsibility moving forward, like you said, Marianne, is, respecting that. Actually, each time I now go into a coaching session, I'm a blank piece of paper, and I need to leave everything at the door, because I have no idea who this person is in front of me, what they've been through, the diversity of experiences that they've had. And in order for me to improve my coaching practice, I need to be as clear and plain as possible for them to be able to coach them in the right way. There were a few other things that I had written down. What else did I say? There was also honestly, I cannot thank you enough for this. This is my first supervision capsule that I've actually been in, and it's very, very different from the Mentoring Cafe. I feel very, very privileged to be in a Zoom room with all of you people and having such a deep, rich conversation. There's so much superficial conversation around COVID right now. I feel like my brain has just exploded this morning. So thank you so much, Bev, for giving me and everybody else the opportunity to really think about diversity, because I'm going to go away with, I feel like we are battling with our primitive brain and our frontal cortex, because our primitive brain takes us to where we belong and the groups and us to feel safe, but it's our frontal cortex that makes us think about the decisions that we have. So yeah, I've come away feeling a little bit disorientated, but so much more enriched by such a wonderful conversation. So yeah, I'm going to say a huge thank you to Bev and to Marianne, because obviously you started the ACSM, and having this opportunity to do this is very unique, and I'm very, very grateful to be here. So I would like to throw the ball to Bev. Being our speaker, what was your main takeaway from today?
Thank you, Zoe. Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you very much to ACSM for providing the platform today for us to have this conversation. And also to everyone who participated. It's just been an absolute delight. You know, one of my takeaways is I'm leaving the conversation with a very full heart as a result of our conversation. I think one of the other takeaways is that you know, I deeply appreciate the willingness of people to engage in this kind of conversation, and just to bring to the table the sort of richness of the dialogue that can unfold when we begin to discuss all of the our experiences and the issues related to encountering diversity in our practice. So I think that's my takeaway, is just being in awe of the richness of the conversation that evolves. And thank you to everyone who has participated. It's just been a real pleasure to be with you today.
I think we might still have Lor Che. Have you shared yet?
No, not yet. My biggest takeaway is really to suspend my own judgment and my own biasness. I mean, living in Malaysia, I say it's a very diverse culture, but somehow we still have this at the back of our mind, that the thing about our own culture. So going into a coaching session, yes, I have to be very mindful to suspend my own judgment about what is around me and focus on my coaching. Okay, who can throw the ball to? Kiran.
Okay, thanks. My takeaway from today's session, it really made me remember this garden. You know, when we always talk about diversity, we always imagine, we visualize this garden carpeted in all the different smells, the different colors, the variety of flowers and trees, all of which actually make a much, much richer impact on our lives. And while we want to blend in the garden, we also want to stand out, so we are noticed in the garden. And all that brings us back to, you know, how, what a glorious relationship we can always have, no matter what we do, whether it's in our coaching or in our everyday lives, in this whole diversity of cultures and people and everything that we do. So this session, Bev, thank you very much. Again, reminds me of this beautiful, very colorful garden that we are all in, and that we should be very happy to be in, actually. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you very much, everybody, for your extended time and being a part of this recorded session. Do join us next month. We have the Mentoring Cafe. That is another fun thing where you can put your coaching really into practice and have a live coaching session with a mentor there. So don't forget that next month. Keep your eyes peeled on our newsletter. And yeah, thank you very much, everybody. We'll speak to you soon.
You have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good weekend. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.